I've got the first thing under new business. So, right, we're going to want to do the updating of the Constitution, which you all know that we've been looking at and knowing that we need to get that done this year. So, Kelly, would you introduce Tamara?
Tamara. So Tamara,
Yes.
Tamara, I've met through the Rosseau Agricultural District 11 OAS, and she has been tasked on the district level to help our ag societies in our district get up to speed and on their constitutions to be aligned with ANCA. And I'm not going to talk any more than that. I'm going to leave it over to her. Thank you, Tamara, for coming.
Well, thank you for asking me, Kelly. I've never been to a historical society meeting before, so this was kind of cool. Kelly, can I share my screen?
Yes. I think, do I have to give permission?
You might, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, let me see how, oh, multiple participants. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as I understand, hello, everybody. So before we begin, I just want you to know I have a bit of a legal background, but mostly in law enforcement. So I'm not a lawyer. I like court proceedings, and I love writing policy. So that's kind of my background. So everything I say, I always remind everybody that it's mostly my opinion based on all of the legislation and regulations that I've read, and that you should probably run any document that you produce past an actual lawyer. But I'll always give you my opinion. So as I understand it, can you all see this screen where it says bylaw number 1A?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So as I understand it, this is your bylaws. Just keep this in mind as I go through my little presentation here. So this is what it looks like. It's actually really concise, and it's very well organized, I must say. You're very, very short and to the point, and everything is concise. That being said, I'm going to go into my little PowerPoint presentation. I created a little PowerPoint for you guys. So this is kind of introduction to bylaws. I don't know if any of you are involved with any other organizations. What's happening right now is the Ontario government has put out new legislation for incorporated not-for-profit organizations. As I understand it, you guys are not incorporated. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that legislation doesn't apply to you. Is there, and I've looked this up, but I just want to double check. There is no, you guys aren't bound by any legislation that I know of.
The only one we'd be bound by, because we have a charitable like we're Revenue Canada.
Right. So it's a federal government thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not Ontario. Okay. Very cool. All right. So you can make your bylaws. That's the best part. You can make your bylaws anything you want. They can, let me just, I go on my little PowerPoint here. All right. So bylaws, they are what a bylaw is. They're your rules of governance. They describe who can do what, when, where, and how. And the new modern word is bylaws. We used to call them constitutions. Those words are basically interchangeable at this point with new legislation that's coming out. So when I start talking about policy and bylaws and governance and, hey, let's write them, this is what I typically see. And I don't blame you. because they are boring. And if I had to listen to somebody standing up there talking about them, I would probably fall asleep too. So what I try to do is make it as exciting as possible. And in reality, I want your bylaws to be more like this. I want them to be friendly. I want them to be inviting. I want them to be your how-to list. So, and I want them to be a checklist. So how do we do that? And why do we do this? Why would we do this? We would do this because if you're like any other organization out there, you're struggling for membership and you're competing with living room couches and Netflix and sporting events. You're competing with if people are involved with other things, if they have children. So why would somebody join the Rosseau Historical Society? One of the things that does attract people is organization and knowing why they are joining something. Why would they join? Because they like history, for sure. But are you an organized organization? Do you have an agenda for your meetings and then you go off topic and you have people having other conversations here and over here, and does anything really get accomplished? I've been to meetings like that. I won't join those organizations. Do you show anything in the community? Now, I've been to Rosseau numerous times, and I actually love all of your historical plaques. I am assuming that that's what you guys also do, other than the books that you just talked about during your meeting. You do the historical plaques, and you're heavily involved with teaching your community about your community and about the history of your community. So what you're looking for. So when I talk about bylaws, I don't just talk about who your members are and what your directors are and what your officers are and what the secretary should do and what the treasurer needs to do and how they do it. What I'm talking about is an actual document that you're going to take a look at on a regular basis. You're going to refer to it. You're going to brag about it in the community that you have this, and that what you say you're going to do is actually what's written down is what has been done. People really like that certainty, that confirmation that what you're saying is what you're doing. All of those things. So your bylaws aren't just something that you put together and you throw in a drawer after you're done with it. And that's what we used to do with constitutions. Constitutions are really boring. But bylaws are really interesting. And here's all the different topics inside a set of bylaws. You take a look at what your directors are, their term of office, their qualification, the expectation that someone would have in being a director, what the election process is to become a director, and what do you do in the case of a vacancy? Officers, are they appointed? Are they elected? What is the position? What is your officers? Presumably it would be a president, a vice president. Some organizations have past presidents. It could be a secretary and a treasurer. Are those elected from amongst your directors, or are they elected from your membership? And speaking of members, how does someone become a member? What are the qualifications to be a member? Do you require your member to have an annual fee? Is that the only thing that a member needs to do in order to stay a member? What is the duration of your membership? How do you terminate a member? And speaking of that, how do you terminate a director if you need to? And the meetings, your types of meetings, whether you have just directors meetings, just officers meetings, do you have full membership meetings? Do you have annual meetings? Who votes at those meetings, depending on the type of meeting? What is the purpose of those different types of meetings? What is the notice that you want to make sure, if you do, that everybody gets that meeting is occurring? What constitutes a quorum, and who all can attend the meetings? Because there's going to be presumably some meetings that you don't want an entire membership having an opinion on. You just want certain people to have the opinion and then guide the rest of your membership, if that's how your organization runs. In your bylaws, you can comment on the finances, whether or not you have auditors, and how you keep your records. What is the definition of your conflict of interest? What is the definition of the code of conduct? How do you remove somebody from your membership or from your directors? I think I already talked about that. If your whole organization were to no longer exist, what happens? And where does all of your property go, your money go, before the government steps in and takes it over? Although I don't know that they would, since yeah, the federal government might step in. I'm not sure what the rules are federally. Amendments.
I don't know.
How do you make changes to this bylaw document? And who gets to vote on that? And oh, I already put conflict of interest in there. I should have looked that over first. Anyway, so that's kind of the overall what a bylaws can consist of. Bylaws can look any way you want them to look. If they can have headings, section numbers, you can have a table of contents, a title page. The purpose of bylaws should be written with clear language. They should be concise. So when you look up a heading, everything you need to know, and this is where the checklist and the how-to part comes in, everything you need to know about having a members meeting is right there. It gives you everything that person, that your new member coming in, has never been a member of a historical society before, everything a member is to expect inside that in that meeting. These documents should be user-friendly, be quick to find things. The headings should be clear. The way I've set up several different documents is we do one subject per page. So the overall document is 20 pages long, but most of that is white space, because the topic of that is on that page, on that one page, is very short. It just creates and the reason for all of this is because current modern day readers, if you think about how it is that you read or your children read or your grandchildren read, people are scanners now. They scan the headlines, they skim through things, they look at the underneath what the photograph is, they look at what the caption is, they look at headlines, they decide after the headline whether they want to click on it. So your bylaws, short, concise, but with a lot of headings, and a table of contents, so that people can go through and see really quickly what they need to know, because they're not going to read the entire document from beginning to end, not typically. That all being said, my always and I push this because a lot of organizations have very long purpose. So your purpose of according to your current bylaw, your purpose of your society is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and it's extremely wordy. And I am not saying that there is anything wrong with that. I'm not. Modern day modern day mission statements, however, are a short statement of why the organization exists, what its overall goals are, and what its purpose is. So if you think of the company FedEx, and this is my favorite mission statement, FedEx has 4 words in their mission statement: the world, on time. That's it. So when you compare that to that, I'm not looking for a 4-word mission statement for your society. What what can be done is when you clarify your mission statement, when you focus your mission statement and you make it shorter, you can start using it in a multiple ways. And I'll get to that in a second. But your mission statement also identifies the goal of your organization, what kind of services it provides, who its primary customers or market are, and the geographic region of operation. Now, granted, FedEx doesn't do that. Well, it kind of does, because if you think about it, they're the world on time. The goals of the organization is on time. What kind of service it provides. It's implying that it's going to deliver something. Who are its primary customers? Well, everybody, and the geographic region is the world. The other thing that FedEx does with their mission statement is it guides every single decision their organization makes. Is this going to get it to the world on time? Yes or no? If yes, do it. If no, yeah, we got to think of something else. So what it does internally, a mission statement, a very concise mission statement, is guide your decisions. And a mission statement is definitely different than a vision statement. A vision statement is more of an idealistic view of your organization's future. Where do you want to go from here? Vision statements typically change. For smaller organizations, they could change year to year, or larger organizations, they tend to stay where we're going, 10 years down the road. We're going to start off like a little bookstore, but then we're going to be like Amazon. So mission statements become your guiding light. They explain why I guess I should have changed this from the Egg Societies. My apologies. Okay. You get the whole idea. Okay. So why do you exist, what your goals are, what you do, who you do it for, and how you do it. And what do you do with a mission statement after you create one? So you start spreading the word. You include it on your letterhead, on your website, on your posters. You remember back when, and I'm not sure about Boy Scouts, but in Girl Guides and Brownies, we would always start our meetings with, I promise on my honor to do my best, to do my duty, to God, to Queen, and the country. So what you can do with a mission statement is open each meeting by reading it. Okay. And that puts everybody on the same page. And it reminds everybody why we're here and why we're meeting. You can use it to, oh, sorry, and I did it again. You can use it to brand your historical, you can use it to brand your historical society within your community. And what that does is it starts allowing everybody on your current membership to go out and talk about what your historical society does and what the purpose of it is. And everybody in your membership, your current membership, is giving the same message because it's one purpose. If you look here on yours, there's multiple purposes. Mm-hmm. And those could all be combined into a larger perspective purpose that you can all go forward and start bragging about. And internally, you use it to guide your decisions. So that's my spiel about mission statements and bylaws. I am available to you. I like to do this. I volunteer for the Egg Societies, 16 different Egg Societies in District 11, and we have fun doing it. I show up at your meetings, I ask a bunch of questions, and then I break things down into different topics. So the different topics would be all of these headings. So we would only do 1 or 2 topics a night or at a meeting, because to do the entire document all in one sitting is that would be this.
And you would start with the mission statement, right? Because that
absolutely
once you have that, then it
because the mission statement is kind of the fundamental foundation, and it will guide other decisions that are made about these other topics. So I typically start with the mission statement. What the mission statement does also is get everybody on the same page. It's a fun night. It's a throwing ideas out. It's a brainstorming tabletop exercise, and it's a lot of fun. And then we get into a little bit less fun topics and go from there. And like I said, the length of the bylaws, what it looks like, what all you want to put into it is entirely up to you, because you basically have no legislation guiding you.
Although,
So.
you know, the reason why I feel this is important is, yes, we don't have any now, but it doesn't mean at some point, based on, and when we're looking at funding, when we're going to the provincial government for a grant, it's nice to present them with good bylaws, good mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore it's like they go, oh, this organization is organized, and they're on task, and they know what their goals are, and
they haven't just pulled a document out of the drawer, dusted it off, and submitted it. They're up to date. They're invested in moving forward. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's I suppose it's the perception, right? Having a comprehensive set of bylaws and a more modern mission statement is the perception of it is that you are more organized, that you are thinking into the future. Yeah.
And
it
I
attracts
also
people, and it attracts grants for sure.
And I also want to sort of give credit to Bernice and Doreen and Dory, because they saw the need to pull one together in 1999, 3 years after we were formed as a historical society. And, you know, it didn't go anywhere other than they produced it. And it's probably good at this point to even to relook at it anyways, because it's been what, 20 years? What's that?
Yeah. Honestly,
Okay,
it's one of the
may I
most
suggest something?
concise. It's one of the most concise documents I've ever seen. I think it's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead, Sarah.
I don't see bashing this out at our general meetings. What think we should do is have a committee which will bash out ideas and argue and so on, and then present something to the next meeting. So maybe we only work on this mission station and we come up with 2 or 3 ideas and then present those at the general meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good
'Cause
idea.
I think we would, this might take the whole meeting, and we have other things to talk about.
No,
Yeah.
no, and I agree. And I think that is a good idea, Sarah. I really do.
So what I've done before is I go to a meeting after we do the mission statement. So we get that done. I go to a meeting, we have a couple of topics, and then we just kind of hash things out. I take notes, and then I come back and I type everything out, and then I give it back to you. So we just kind of throw
So
ideas around. It's more of a brainstorming. Each one of these sessions is more of a brainstorming session. And then I bring it back to you, and then you discuss it from there.
Yeah.
But we can do it however it is that works best for you guys.
So I think what Sarah, and she's got the right idea. I think if we do a mini session with you, like through Zoom,